That's a hole in the boat. So how did we get a hole in the boat? Actually, we really don't know. It was like that when we bought it. Apparently there was a repair made. It was a really crappy repair. They used this styrofoam spray expander stuff in it and then just kind of painted over it, which is, I mean, that's not fiberglass. That's just bad juju, man. Anyway, so what we think happened is at one point the mast had fallen before we owned it. And when it fell, it hit this down here and it bent this real bad. And that's why we've got that blue rope on it. So I think what happened is there's a thing called a boom crutch, and that boom crutch was on these blocks that went right here. Those blocks would have been made out of teak and had some kind of a swivel, I don't know, accessory or something on it. And then there was a great big piece of wood, had this big notch in, three big notches in it. Those 3 notches held your boom. Whether you wanted it on the port, starboard, or right in the middle is irrelevant. Anyway, I think what happened is the boom was resting in that, and the boom rest, and when the mast fell and it hit that, and it blew that straight through the top deck. Either way, there's a hole in the boat and we got to fix it. First thing I did is I made up a backing plate. Obviously it's a hole. If you pour any kind of resin or put anything in it, it's going to fall through. Well, that one, obvious, it's going to need something underneath it. So I made this. It's really easy to do. It's just basically put a bunch of resin on something plastic that it'll peel off of, lay your fiberglass down in layers, get all the air bubbles out of it, and let it sit. You get this really nice, thin, pliable piece of fiberglass that you can use as a backing. So this whole process is basically putting this up underneath it, putting some what we call peanut butter around it, or basically it's a fiberglass mix. It's of resin and shredded up fiberglass mat. And then we're going to put that around it. We're going to squeeze it up in there, and I'm going to drill a couple of small holes in this, and so I can use strings to pull it up in there. And then we got to let it sit for a couple hours so it can seal up.
One step walking round, tell me why you're out of town. Everything you feel for, tell me what's your open door. Walking past the railroad track, said I'm gonna freak you, I ain't gonna hold back. In it for the honey, oh oh, in it for the honey, in it for the honey, oh oh, in it for the honey. Jump back, turn around, life is on a warm bound. Everything that you feel, everything inside you see, with shoes stuck and on, ready to get it on, all night long. In it for the honey, oh oh, in it for the honey, in it for the honey, oh oh, in it for the honey.
Yes. Yes, it is. I can't see them. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Good. I drilled a hole in that so that I can get a string to it, so I can tie something to it, pull it up from the bottom. We are now on day 4. Basically what I've been doing is filling it in. Trying to get in those little nooks and crannies with some of that peanut buttery stuff I was talking about. Seems to be going really well. It's hardened up really well. I don't have any issues as far as pulling apart or anything like that. It seems to be going good. Looks like we got to clean it up some first, so all I'm going to do is grind away at it. So. Is messy. Oh, wow. I can see you now. How cool is that? There you go. We'll try this again. Yeah, it's a mess. I made a mess. But we revealed some cracks and crevices we got to cover up, fill in. So that's why we do it. Let's get to work. Everything. I'm going to get this cleaned up and get back to it. Probably. Looks a lot better than it did. I was worried about these little cracks and crevices up in here, but in all honesty, this isn't really a structure thing, so I'm really not worried about getting that much structural integrity, if I could word. I'm not worried about the structural integrity, so those little holes and stuff that are inside aren't going to bother me. I am, however, going to start layering some fiberglass in to try and fill that hole back in. I had to do a little bit more cleanup. It was really bad, so we're going to get back to work. First thing we got to do is cut down some pieces to fit inside this chamber here. Or bowl cut out. That thing. There's a ton of things online that will teach you how to do fiberglass, and trust me, they're a lot better than what I'll do. I'm not a fiberglass guy. I just do it so I can repair my own stuff. This bowl needs to be filled from the bottom to the top. You can't just pour resin in there because resin cracks over time with heat, UV, and that kind of thing. So you got to put some fiberglass mat in it. What we're going to use is it's just a cheap cloth that you can pick up on Amazon or online somewhere. This cloth is a mild or medium wove or whatever. I don't know. It's said one cloth, 8 square feet, and fiberglass cloth. There you go. So we're going to cut pieces to fit in here. So we'll cut 2 or 3 of the same size, and then we'll get bigger as we go from there, so that it overlaps as it goes up and it fills all the way up, and then we'll go overflow a couple of times so that when we sand down, it's very nice and flat to the top down. And that's enough for today. We're going to go get some resin, mix it up, lay these in, let them dry for 24 hours, something hours. We're going to let them dry till they're hard, cured, that kind of thing. Probably tomorrow. Okay, first of all, ignore the wind. Second of all, we obviously aren't in the same spot. A lot has happened since I did that video. But let me finish that up for you real quick. I went ahead and finished up layering the fiberglass in and getting it close to the deck. I didn't go over like I said I was, simply because I was using a fairing compound, as you see here. That stuff is just a powder you add to resin, it thickens it up, and it's really nice to sand flat. And I'll be doing that in a little while later. Turns out I was happy I did wait, because we did have a couple of leaks that I had to, make some small adjustments on. But it doesn't leak anymore. My wife is very happy. With that said, there's a lot of content coming your way. We have been redoing the bottom of the boat and the side of the boat and all kinds of stuff. To give you an idea, here's a sneak peek. She looks a lot different than she used to. So we got a lot of stuff coming up, how we did it, what we were doing, where we were at, the kind of thing. So if you want to see more of this kind of stuff and see what's coming up, by all means, subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, hit that like button. And by all means, if you know somebody that could benefit from this video, share it with them. And as always, go be awesome.